What's up, superstars? We all know DTF is great for printing hyper-realistic details. It's even great for achieving glitter prints without actually having to deal with glitter, of course. So on this quick tutorial, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to create a fake glitter texture using both Kittl as well as DTF. Now, this is not only limited to glitter texture, you can basically mask just about any texture that you want. Now, I know that this is not real glitter, but as a DTF printer, we really don't want to deal with glitter. We've tried the glitter film before and it just gets everywhere and onto other folks' prints that don't want the actual glitter. So unless you have a dedicated machine to have it and have the demand for this, this is the only way that we're going to be printing glitter with DTF. All right, guys, first thing you want to do is head over to Kittl. So we're going to go to Kittl. There you go. Let's start from the very beginning. And then once you're in here, go ahead and log in. If you guys don't have an account yet, create one. Now, for us, we do have a premium account. We do have a special going on with Kittl. So make sure you guys take advantage of the $20 off of any plan while it's still available. So you guys are not familiar with Kittl so far, it's a very easy design tool. If you guys are not familiar with Photoshop or Procreate or any of that other stuff, you do have to pay for those programs. This is actually free unless you get the premium account, but what's different about this one is that it is web-based. So you don't need a crazy graphics card or anything in order to design. You can use some of their basic tools and it's really easy to use. So it's a good alternative if you don't have an Adobe product. Now let's go back to Kittl. What we're going to do is go ahead and select on a new project. What we're going to do here is start to create an artboard. Now let's say you have the shirt style in mind, you know exactly what you want to do. So as far as the measurements and dimensions, it's not questionable. If you don't know what size you're going to do, I would recommend creating a large artboard so that you can take it back in and reshrink it if you need to. But if you know the exact dimension, go ahead and put in 300 DPI resolution. We'll change this to inches. Sorry, I didn't need to do the t-shirt design, but go back to inches. And let's say the width you wanted exactly 9.5 inches by, let's say, 5 inches. This is going to be a design that we're putting on a women's t-shirt front, so 9.5 inches is what we are going to use here. So go ahead and create the artboard. Everything is sized like this. Next thing that we want to do is start to create our letter mask. So what we're going to do is go to elements and then we're going to search up their letter mask. Now normally this is something that's very time consuming to do on Photoshop, so having the ability to do it on Kittl makes it very, very easy. Letter masker right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on show all. So you want to go ahead and expand all the letter masking and then you're able to see all the letters here. One of the things that I don't love is that everything is not in alphabetical order. There are two versions of each letter. Some of them are skinnier than the others, some of them are fatter than the others. So it really depends on the style that you want. So for example, here's a Q that's going to be a fat version, and then here's a skinny version of this one. So in this particular design, I'm going to create a queen, let's say. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Q, and then I'm going to look for the U, and then E, and then N. So let's look for the N right here. All right, so now that all the letters are added to the artboard, I'm going to click on close, and it's going to bring out all the letters here. Now, again, I created this artboard at 9.5 inches, so I know that this is going to be the max design that the max size of the design. As you guys can see here, it doesn't quite fit, so it's a little bit big. If you don't know your size, you can kind of mess around with it, drag and drop, and kind of just fit it into place. But if you do know exactly what size you want everything at, just go ahead and resize it. So let's say we're going to do 1.5 inches on every single letter. I'm just going to go ahead and type in 1.5 inches. And you always want to resize based off of the height, not really the width, because you want to keep things consistent. If you're, let's say, resizing by the end, the width, it's not going to be the same. Let's say you focus on let's say 2 inches right there, and let's do 2 inches here. You guys can see 2 inches on the E versus 2 inches on the N makes it completely different in size aspect ratio. So you want to make sure that we're bringing this down to 1.5 inches so that everything is the exact same size. Now let's go ahead and line everything up. Let's say this one, the last one wasn't aligned. So like that, you can go ahead and click on this. It'll highlight everything. You can go ahead and click on the middle mode. That will align all the letters and characters in the middle, or letters in the middle actually. And you can start doing some spacing. So if you want to, you can manually space this out. So let's say like that. Okay, let me highlight this and what happens if I click there? Yeah. So if you guys can see, if I clicked on the tidy mode, it went ahead and tidied everything together. That was just a little bit off right there because I moved it. But all you needed to do is click on the center and then go ahead and click on tidy, and it went ahead and lined everything up, and it is nice and centered. Again, it's at 9.5 by 1.5 inches. I originally set the artboard at 9.5 by 5. But the main thing I wanted is the width. I didn't really know what the height is going to be, so I focused it on the width, and I got 9.5 inches. Each letter is at 1.5 inches, and this looks perfect for what I'm trying to do. Now you see all the clouds and all that good stuff here. This is just kind of a placeholder for the lettering mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up Google, and let's say you want to type in gold sparkle texture overlay. Let's something like that, just to kind of see some images and what to do. You can scroll down, look for the most realistic one that you want as far as textures. I like this one right here, and I'll tell you the reason why. So it is a fairly decent sized image. I like the glitter effect on it. I think it's pretty realistic. There are some areas that have a little sparkle to it, so that really gives it a nice realistic texture to it. So I'm going to go ahead and right click. I just went ahead and saved it off the web. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the queue right here, upload an image, locate the file name. I'm just going to run through this real quick. Let's just go ahead and load up the same design. Actually, I accidentally moved it, guys, so you got to make sure when you guys click on it that you don't click too fast and move the letters, or else you're just going to simply have to realign it. So if I'm trying to do this pretty quick, but you guys can see some of the letters did not get a chance to load. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back, give it a second, let it actually load up. The bigger the file, the more bandwidth it takes. So let's just be patient, and I'm going to let it load. There you go. So everything is all loaded here. If you want to make some adjustments to the background texture, what I would do is you would double click on the actual image, and you can either resize it, drag it bigger, drag it smaller. What I'm doing here is, you see how there's a little right here. If you want to kind of control where that sparkle is at, you just need to align the board to it so that it looks more realistic. Everything is not the same size, so you can just make it like that. I'll pick the sparkle right there. If you accidentally move it, you can Control Z. But once you get everything into place and all the masking and everything looks really good, all you're doing at this point is hitting download, and you want to export the exact same size. You want to go ahead and remove the background layer to this. You don't have to upscale it or anything like that. You just go ahead and click on download, and you'll have your design. After you have your design with your removed, you simply head on over to our website. There's UV DTF and there's DTF, so you can order this design on either or both. And I will show you both actually, but I'm gonna build the regular DTF transfer gang sheet first. So we're at our website, we're at the gang sheet builder. I'm gonna start a brand new gang sheet. I'm just gonna rename this Gold Glitter. I always like to put the date on things so that I know, or I can reference back to it. So let's go ahead and open up the design that I just uploaded. All right, and then, oops, I clicked on the X mark. All right, there you go. Here is you can easily, once you click on the design, you can see the exact dimension, which is 9.5 by 1.5. That's perfect here. There's a green box outline here, so that shows it's at 300 resolution. And if I want to just duplicate this and print a bunch of these, this is what I would do. Everything is nice and spaced out. So on this gang sheet, I'm actually able to create 12 different designs off of a $10 sheet. So it's less than $1 per print, which is really cheap in order to decorate a shirt. Now, all you're doing at this point, you're saving it, adding it to cart. You're gonna go ahead and check out, name it a certain way that you want it to, check it out, either get it shipped to your property, or you can go ahead and do a will call and pick up at our facility in roughly about 2 business days or less. Let's go ahead and get this printed and we'll go ahead and see the results. I'm also gonna create another one of these with the UV transfer so that I can make a smaller version and put it on a cup just to see how the resolution and how it turns out using Kittl as an artwork platform to create your artwork for DTF or UV DTF. What's up, superstars? We are back. We've got our transfers. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the outcome. So first you see here is going to be the DTF and a UV DTF version. So let's take a look at the DTF version here. I think I did a pretty good job with the masking and choosing the right texture. I love that it is not completely solid and there's areas that are brighter than the others. That kind of gives it a realistic look to it. Pretty good as far as achieving fake glitter. Now we did the same thing, but I changed the format to a vertical placement, and I'm doing this with UV DTF transfers. So this is actually going to be used for a glass cup like this. This is a permanent fixture and it's going to be dishwasher safe, and we're going to go ahead and show you how we also apply this. So the same design that you created using Kittl for a t-shirt can also be used on UV DTF. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be pressing this on today. 1717, it is a denim color, so it's nice and kind of like a grayish blue, a really nice washed color. I really like the comfort colors because this is not only just a heavy duty t-shirt, but it actually doesn't shrink much compared to other 100% cotton t-shirts. So personally for me, I love the way that this looks, and that's what we're gonna be pressing on. And we chose a size small. This is actually a unisex t-shirt, so it can be used for men and women. And this is a size small, so it is actually considered more like a relaxed fit. So let me just get the measurements for you. I'm gonna spread it all out. All right, so from armpit to armpit, roughly about 18 inches. From top to bottom, about 25 inches, almost 26 inches, 25 3/4. So far, personally for us, we like using this because again, it doesn't shrink that much compared to other cotton t-shirts. So this is what we'll be using today. Let's go ahead and get our heat press dialed in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the laser set up. It's kind of unaligned right here, so I'm gonna show you guys how we do the alignment. So first of all, I do have some faint lines which are drawn by a permanent marker. So we wanna make sure we get the midpoints here on the heat press, and then we'll get the lasers to align to that. So I'll explain it a little bit more as I get to this. So we just use our T-ruler. I have this basically measured at 3 inches because that's normally what we do our men's shirts at, and then we do one at 2.5 inches. So let's just go ahead and draw the line for the 3-inch. And then let's say you were doing a bunch of women's shirts, so you need a dedicated line for the 2.5 inches, which we normally use for women's. And again, it varies between V-necks and drop shoulders and all that stuff. So we are just going to go ahead and create those lines. And lastly, I'm going to create my vertical lines that gives me the middle point of the press. And if you're wondering what I'm drawing, I'm actually drawing over pre-existing lines. I've already measured everything, so this is 16 inches on our heat press, and that's 8 inches. That shows it's right in the center. So in case I did not explain that part well, that's what we are doing. And our heat press actually threads backwards. So normally you see heat presses where you're actually laying from the front, but ours actually scoots back and forward. So that's why you're seeing me do it backwards. Now that I have everything aligned, you want to make sure that you align your shirt on the press well. So you can just slip it in and kind of do your normal alignment adjustments. But if you have a laser tool like we have, then you're easily able to align with. So I'm basically on a tripod and I'm just kind of calibrating and moving the lasers to the middle. So that's pretty good and centered. And that's on the position outside. So when I push it in, the lasers disappear because I am loading the t-shirt from this top position. So now let's go ahead and thread our t-shirt. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and pull it to the very top. And that's where the starting position's at, and that's gonna be my 2.5 mark. I'm feeling the sides to make sure and confirm that everything is nice and firm. And I always recommend doing a quick pre-press or just a quick test to know how firm it is. It is at 9 on our heat press. This is a Prisma heat press, by the way. And I'm just testing to make sure that it is on firm pressure, which it is, so we're in good shape. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our transfers. Again, this is the back of the transfers. Everything looks good. It's calibrated very well, where you do not see any of the white that's coming out of the edges. Everything is within the boundary. So it's a good transfer. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and fold it halfway. Basically the end of the transfer to the end of the transfer, I'm gonna crease the top. That kind of gives me the midpoint. So it gives me a blind or a kind of a invisible marker so that I can use this to align with. So we're gonna go ahead and do 2.5 inches, and that's gonna be the midpoint right there. The lasers show that everything is aligned and centered. You can also double check with your fingers to make sure that it is aligned, and it looks really, really good. So we're gonna bring it back in there. Our transfers press at 300 degrees for 7 seconds. So you make sure you wanna check with your transfer provider in case you need a longer press time, but ours are a low melt and really easy and quick transfer to use. So 300 degrees, we're gonna press it for 7 seconds. All right, automatically opens. We're just gonna go ahead and grab a corner and we're gonna go ahead and transfer like so. Now, we're gonna go ahead and use the back of the transfer. We normally use a matte finishing sheet like this, but because this kind of has a glitter effect, we're just gonna use the back of the transfer sheet so that I get more of a shine to it versus more of a matted look. All right, let's go ahead and take it out. I'm gonna turn off the laser so that you guys can have a better view at it. Let's go ahead and zoom in closer. You can see all the details. All the edges are down. Almost looks like real glitter without having the actual glitter feel to it, which is really heavy on the t-shirt, but it looks really good. This is what you see so far. And really easy to use, guys. There are other shapes that you can use besides letters, like bears, hearts, states. They have a lot of templates, so make sure you guys check that out. Let's go ahead and head over to our area so that we can do our UV cups. All right, guys, so these are going to be the glass cups that we're going to be using. We get these off of Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive. They come in packs of 6 and 9 and so on and so forth. And this is going to be the UV DTF transfer that we're going to be using and that we printed. And again, it has that fake glitter effect that we're trying to use on a cup. And this is going to be the cup, so let's do a quick measurement. I do have templates of a design that we do off of Kittl, which you can also see on our channel, but for this one I'm just going to do some quick measurements. So the whole cup itself is probably about 6 inches, but there is a curve on the top and the bottom, so you definitely want to stay within range. I would say the absolute max is 4.3 inch by 9.3 across in the diameter. So in this particular case, we're gonna go way under that and we're gonna be at 4 inches. So that's gonna be the position, and I didn't wanna do a wrap that way. I wanted to create the lettering vertically, so that's gonna be the placement of it. And so for the tool that we're using, this is a Imperial tool. I'll have a link below in case you guys are interested in it. And this is actually the 3rd time that we're using this tool. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I kind of have markers set here so that it is easy for me to mass produce these if I need to. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a quick cleaning to it. You don't have to use alcohol for our UV DTF transfers, something that you might have to do with vinyl. but we just kind of clean it with a microfiber cloth, and that's going to be good enough. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn on the laser adjustment, but as you guys can see, you can't really see through this clear glass, so we're just going to go ahead and use a sheet. You can use paper, you can use a finishing sheet like we're using. So we're just going to go ahead and set it in place, and then it'll go ahead and expand inside the cup. And once you turn this on, you can see through. Now what we're going to do at this point is we're going to find the midpoint. So again, I have this lined up 5 inches basically from the bottom to the top right here. And so at 2.5 inches, this is going to be where I'm at, and that's going to be the midpoint of where I want to put the transfer. Boom, that's where I'm going to basically put it. I'm going to use some masking tape. I like to use tape to keep things aligned. All right. Okay, so I think it's a bit high. So let's see, I want to lower it just a bit. So let's get this back in place. All right, let's check. Pretty good. Okay, now I can turn off the laser, get that out of the way, and I can start peeling the transfer. Personally, for me, I like working this way, kind of like rolling it this way, but yeah, that's actually what I'm going to do. It's kind of easier for me versus going left and right where I have to kind of focus this way. That would also work, but I think for me, going this way is a little bit easier. See, I'm just going like that. I'm pulling it down, and then I'm laying it flat. I think that worked pretty good, and I'm just going to go ahead and flatten everything. Let's go ahead and bring it back into focus. Now I turn this around after, and I use the plastic side just for a little bit more pressure on certain edges, and then I'm done. So you can go ahead and remove your masking tape. Let's grab this edge instead. All right, now as you guys are removing the film, instead of pulling up that way, you want to pull left and right, up and down, so that you're not putting so much strain into the transfer. You're just gonna pull it back. I can easily pull it this way, but I'm not doing it. I'm just literally pulling it this way. I like to expose the edges first in case it peels back for some reason. You have an opportunity to flatten it back down. But if you do a good job at making sure that everything is nice and squeegeed down, then you're not gonna have to run into that issue at all. All right, so there you go. Let's remove this. Ooh, it looks absolutely perfect. Get out the glass right here. Now, what I would recommend at this point is to let it sit for at least 24 hours before you do any washing or adding water to it. This way you allow this to cure properly, and you're able to use this in a dishwasher after that. Again, I hope you guys found this video helpful. You guys found some of the tools and tips and tricks useful, and hoping you guys will be able to create some crafts like this. My name is Phil. You guys need anything again as far as DTF or UV DTF, let us know. You guys have our link below. We'll catch you guys on the next one.